Welcome back to the Patreon episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of DuckTakes. As always, with me, my co-host Garrett.
Hey, everybody.
And as you could see from the shirts, baby, Hell's Kitchen it is today. We're going to be reviewing Daredevil Born Again as we got an early sneak preview. We're going to talk about our experience.
It wasn't a sneak preview. It was a premiere, bro.
It was a premiere. Why? It was early preview.
There was nothing sneaky about it.
No, there wasn't. Well, I saw it twice. The first time for me was kind of sneaky.
That was sneaky.
That was sneaky. So I've seen it twice. And yes, as you can see from the hoodie as well, we do have our Daredevil DuckTakes merch dropping this week. So be on the lookout for that. Garrett's got his box lunch Hell's Kitchen on. As you can see, it's got Hell's Kitchen in Braille. Or does that say Daredevil in Braille?
No, I think it's a translation of like what this is.
Okay.
Because on the back it says Murdoch, and then it has Braille below that. I believe it's like this is Hell's Kitchen.
That's sick.
In Braille, which is fucking dope.
Very nice. And I'm sure you've seen some early reactions as well. We will be diving into a spoiler-free review as well as a spoiler review. So once we get to that point, we will warn you, pause the episode, come back next week after you've seen the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again and listen to the rest of the episode. But honestly, I'm really jazzed to talk about these first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again because I think they understood the assignment.
Yeah.
But New York. Let's talk about New York.
I mean, shit, that's going to be mostly a rant by you because you were there like the whole time.
Yeah. So I was able to go out a few days earlier and did this whole Daredevil Born Again event. And it was quite interesting. Like, thank God me and Andrew from the Escape Pod podcast, love that guy. And thank God we had each other for this event because we were with the UK group. So we were with, a bunch of people from England, Poland,
the Netherlands, Germany, Spain. And so we were just like, how did we get thrown into this group? Doesn't matter though. We had a lot of fun. Friday, got to New York. Saturday, we started out the day seeing the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again at the New York Disney headquarters, which apparently is a new office building. I didn't know that. Someone said, yeah, it's brand new. And man, it was really nice. And that actually ended up being the theater we watched the premiere in, which was very comfy seats. Oh, okay. Where we went later was I didn't know.
That's where we watched it. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, cool.
And me and Andrew weren't sure if that was going to be the same place that we watched. But once we were in the office again, we were like, oh, yeah. This is where
I got you.
Mm-hmm. So after that, we went to the Brooklyn Zoo gym where we did parkour for 2 hours. That was really cool because, I mean, growing up, in sports, I did gymnastics for a little bit as well. Andrew apparently is a pretty handsy gymnast as well.
Yeah. I don't know if handsy's the right word, but
I mean, he was doing backflips.
He knew what he was doing, bro. Yeah. I saw that video of him doing like that whole cheerleader routine, basically doing the backflips. I was like, what the hell is going on? That kid has like unlimited secret talents. It's weird. It's crazy.
That's Andrew. So that was really fun. The trainers who run that gym do like parkour training, choreography training with some of the Marvel actors. So for instance, the guy said that they've done some training with Charlie Cox, John Bernthal, Oscar Isaac, and a few other celebrities as well. So that was really cool. We did a couple like run-throughs of obstacle courses here and there. And then we went to the upstairs area where they had a little more advanced parkour obstacle course. And afterwards, the guy who runs the place was like, oh, they had Nerf guns up there. And they were like, oh, if anyone wants to do a Nerf war, you can stay. You just got to find your own way back to the hotel. And me and Andrew were like, well, fuck yeah. Who's going to say no to that?
Yeah.
Turns out everyone else did say no but us.
That's crazy, bro.
It's crazy.
What's hilarious is like, bro, we were having Nerf wars with Andrew.
That's what I'm saying.
Beforehand. Yeah. And it just so happened that they brought up the Nerf wars for you guys to do. I was like, I wish I could have been there for that. I would have had a blast.
It was cool. So
that.
Me and Andrew did a Nerf war 1v1. You'll probably see it on his Patreon, on Escape Pod's Patreon episode. Because he had the guy record us the whole time.
Oh my god!
And we did best of 3.
Who won?
He won 3-2. Yeah. I mean, he's the advanced. He's a veteran when it comes to a Nerf war.
He is good at Nerf wars.
Yeah. But no, it was really cool. We just weren't expecting everyone else to say no. I'm like, who the fuck's going to say no to that? And the reason we wanted to stay a little bit too is because at 4 o'clock, we were able to just fuck around a little bit more downstairs, do some backflips and shit. And then that night, we did a cocktail hour at this one bar that had a beautiful view of the city, which was a lot of fun. Got to really chat it up with a new friend now, Albert, who is one of the OG movie TikTokers from Spain. So he was a great guy. Loved talking to him. There we had, some free espresso martinis and everything. And look here, they say Americans are loud.
Are we putting this out there?
This is Patreon. Americans are not the loudest. Like, I know people from Europe always talk about how loud Americans are. That's not the case, bro. UK, y'all motherfuckers are louder for sure. And I'm not saying this with disdain. I still love, our fans from the UK. I love our fans from all over the place. I just want to put this thing to rest that Americans are obnoxiously loud for some reason. Because, there's a group from England, and I mean, hey, they were having fun, but they weren't as loud as the Americans were the quiet ones. But
it was you and Andrew. Are you and Andrew the representation of the entire U.S. population?
Yeah, I know. It's like we're the two quietest Americans.
Exactly.
But it was cool. We had, espresso martinis and all that. It was cool. The espresso martinis had Daredevil written in the top of it.
I did see that. That was cool.
It was all, Daredevil themed cocktails. And then Sunday, we woke up, we did a tour of New York City, a walking tour with our tour guide, Luke, from NYC Real Tours or NY, trying to think of the name of the company. It was Real Tours of NYC or New York Real Tours. But our tour guide was Luke, who, it's a family-owned touring company. He was really, really good at his job, born and raised in New York. And what was really cool is that it wasn't like your typical tour. So we, kept it Daredevil themed as well. And we toured around Hell's Kitchen. And instead of like your typical history stories, Luke was telling us a lot of the crime stories, the drug stories. So a lot of the, some serial killer stories. So a lot of the bad stories in New York that, you would want Daredevil to come and save you. And so that was really cool. And then after the tour, what did we do that day? Oh, yeah. We went back to the New York Disney offices and we did like a little press thing with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. And they were really cool. So we were all in this small room. Like, it wasn't one-on-one, and we had to submit questions. So me and Andrew thought it was going to be more one-on-one style. So Andrew was like submitting his usual trivia style with them, or his game style. And we didn't know that it was going to be like all of us in one room. There's like 20 of us, and then they're just sitting at the front of the room, and we get to ask our question.
Yeah.
And so we all submitted questions. I think we asked like one question each. About 6 people had questions. 7, and I don't know. It was all right because they chose, of course, my most watered down question to ask them. I mean, that's usually how it goes, though.
Yeah.
When it comes to these press junket things.
Well, then you should have made none of them watered down. Then they had to pick one, and they all would have been good.
But then, or
they just don't pick it,
or wouldn't have been approved. Like, hey, none of your questions are approved.
That's true.
But no, Charlie was really cool. So was Vincent. Both seemed like really chill guys, and then we were able to take pictures with them afterwards, and they were really nice. They wanted to also make sure, because the moderator of that whole, press thing, she was like, all right, that's all the questions that we have. And Charlie,
all the time we have
for questions, and Vincent and Charlie were like, no, we could do a few more questions. They wanted to make sure that they answered questions for us, and afterwards they, took their time to personally thank us for being there, and that they are really happy and excited for everyone to see this show, and that they really wanted to do it for the fans. And, they wanted to make sure their voices were going to be heard when it came to Daredevil Born Again, and that, that this show really was for the fans. They were really cool. So we got pictures with them afterwards. And then later that night, we had the Kingpin inspired dinner.
So
I had flown in at this point.
Yeah, Garrett flew in.
Yeah.
He crashed in the hotel room, and I went off to the Kingpin inspired dinner at this really nice restaurant. I mean, obviously it's going to be nice, it's Kingpin inspired.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because they had like just this one long table. It almost seemed like a headquarters meeting,
Like a boardroom type of thing.
Yeah. And dinner was good. Dinner was really good. It was cool. So that pretty much covered it for
The activities that you
the
got
activities
to do,
that we did.
I was really there just for the premiere. So next day, we actually got to Blake finally had some, free time to do stuff that he wanted to do, even though we didn't really have a plan. So it was me, Blake, and Andrew the next day, and this is Monday. Yeah,
Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we do? We went to Rockefeller Center.
Let's just say this: we also recreated as many Spider-Man scenes as we could.
Yeah, that was like literally all we did, and that wasn't even the plan.
No,
it just
wasn't.
ended up happening.
Yeah.
We planned to go to one spot, the bridge from Spider-Man 3, and then after that, it just so happened that we kept finding Spider-Man locations.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is awesome.
I can't tell you how many times we were just in New York making Marvel references. It was happening all weekend long.
Oh my god! And then we met up with Alex Coleman later.
Yeah, we did.
Or Cole is his tag on.
Y'all know Alex Coleman.
Yeah.
Dark of the Moon legend.
And he actually pointed out one of the locations that we didn't know about. He pointed out the rooftop that Toby drops off MJ at in Spider-Man 1 when he saves her from Green Goblin in the beginning. So we were like, oh shit, we didn't know that. And
he also thinks Spider-Man 3 is better than Spider-Man 1. So
yeah, he's insane.
I'm gonna get him on here for a Patreon episode just to yap about that.
Those takes are crazy. They're crazy. But yeah, he kept saying on your left, like he was just he wouldn't stop. And then also we also were in a Avengers location, the original, the first Avengers movie,
the final fight scene.
Yeah, the final fight scene. It was like I can't remember. I remember it was like where Tony was getting chased by the Chitauri and he made a left turn. Do you remember that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it was also right in that area
where Cap was
fighting,
where they were on the ground.
Hawkeye, when they were on the ground on that bridge.
Yeah,
that's exactly where
and
we
he was
were.
And the whole part where he's like, I need a perimeter as far back as 39.
Yeah. So that was really cool. But yeah, recreating that Spider-Man 3 scene on the bridge, so fun. And then, oh my god, I'm so happy that everyone understood my Instagram story when I was eating the hot dog.
Yeah.
And then I posted it to Rain.
Yeah. What were the replies that you got on that?
Just a bunch of people laughing. And I'm so glad people understood that reference because it is. I know Spider-Man 2 is the most popular Spider-Man movie, but that's very
that part's
particular.
Pretty niche.
It's very niche, very specific.
Yeah.
And adding the song definitely helps. You got to add the song. But yeah, it was just so fun walking around and you would look up at the buildings and you just imagine Spider-Man is swinging around. I mean,
dude, we would imagine ourselves doing that. We're like, man, walking around the city sucks. Could you imagine having web slinging? Just be like, shh, shh.
It was really fun. That was my first time being in New York since 2012. So I really haven't been in a long time.
We took our family vacation up there. So I was a literal child last time.
Yeah, that was the first
in New York.
time since I was an adult that I've done that.
Yeah.
And I was definitely able to enjoy it more than when I was a kid. And it wasn't as I'm sorry to say it, but it also wasn't as dirty as I thought it would be. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you're talking about. It's a good thing. But people always talk about how New York is such a dirty city, and honestly,
granted, we weren't there long, but still,
and we didn't explore every part of New York. But from what we did see, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
I really enjoyed my time in the city. I really enjoyed Central Park. Overall, really good experience in New York.
Yeah.
And now let's get to it. The premiere. First of all, what an amazing and perfect group there was for our very first premiere.
I was just about to say, I think it was the people that made this trip so awesome. Bro, that day of us walking around New York and everything and in Central Park, I was like, that day would not have been nearly as fun had it not been you, me, and Andrew.
Oh, absolutely.
That made that day so much fun.
And then, getting up to meet with Alex Coleman. And then our good friend Alex Hat Guy showed up as well for the premiere.
you know, George Carmi from the Real Talk podcast, which is great meeting him for the first time because we've been mutuals on TikTok for holy shit, like 3 years now.
Yeah.
So we finally got to meet in person. Fantastic Frankie was also there, who was part of the Peacock San Diego Comic-Con group that we were in. So that was a great surprise seeing her there. Big Screen BearCon, which again, another person who I've been mutuals, you know, on social media with for a long time, and finally got to meet him.
Dude, George was like, meeting George, that was like, I feel like I didn't even need to introduce myself.
Yeah,
like I was just like, what's up, dude? Like that was just so weird that like we had not met at all yet.
It's crazy. But what a fucking amazing group for our first premiere. It really made that special for sure.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about like the reception before?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, so we walk in, they were like taking us in waves upstairs. Then we finally get up there. We showed up a little bit earlier so that way we could get on the red carpet because obviously they're going to prioritize celebrities and everything first. And it's like, it's just a matter of you can get in time. But we were able to get on the red carpet. Not sure if we've been able to acquire our pictures yet.
I haven't been able to find them from Getty Images.
Dude, what is happening? Our red carpet pictures have not showed up yet, but you know, hopefully we can get a hold of those. But I don't know. I say we did pretty good on the red carpet. I think we look good enough. Like, we did end up doing our pictures together. We were like, you know, this is first premiere. Even though I wasn't there for like all the other New York stuff, they were accommodating and they had like a placard for me. So that way I was able to go on the red carpet as well. So we just went out there together. We're taking our pictures together. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. And they had like cocktail hour before the premiere as well. Shout out to our bartender, Hector.
Yeah. Who, oh my God. He was hilarious, bro. He was like memorizing everybody's drink order and was pouring that shit before you even finished walking up to the counter.
So funny. So, I mean, this was after the premiere as well. We went back to the same area and for more cocktails. And man, by the end of the night, like this dude had Alex Coleman's drink memorized with the Pinot Noir.
He was like, Pinot Noir.
He already had it poured for him. It was so funny because before the premiere, you know, we're trying to feel good. There's celebrities around us, so we got to get that liquid courage. And it was so funny because George went up for another drink, and Hector was like, "Back already?"
Bro, I feel like he didn't understand that these were like, it was like kind of insulting.
Yeah, it was so funny though. But he was really cool because by the end of the night, we went back up to the bar right before they had last call, or right after they had last call. Actually, the bar was technically closed, and Hector was like, "Bar's closed, but shh, here you go." So yeah, we had a great time hanging out with everyone in there. They had the Daredevil Born Again suit and the Kingpin suit, and
the Born Again suit looks dope.
But then they ushered us into the theater. And let's get to it. We have seen the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. This is our spoiler-free review of it. What were your initial thoughts walking out of that theater?
Peak.
Now, I'm sure people are probably sick of hearing everyone saying that it was peak, but genuinely, like, I've seen this twice now. I've seen the first 2 episodes twice now.
Yeah.
And let's just say this. I can't wait to see it a third time next week.
Yeah.
I think Disney understood the assignment with this one.
They did. And it's been a while since I've been like excited about a Marvel project like this.
Especially a TV show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, especially a TV show.
I mean, I think they've had good TV shows, even great ones like Loki. But I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, no, I think, I will say, I think they've been good so far about like reviving stuff from other like universes, like stuff that they're picking up, because now this with the Netflix shows now, and then with Deadpool, that wasn't theirs at first, and they did and Disney did their version of Deadpool. That was also a big hit.
X-Men 97.
Yeah. So honestly, it seems like when they do continuations of old stuff, it works.
Yeah. And I will say, I do think it does keep that same tone, grit, gore.
Yeah, they didn't hold back on the violence, which was going to be one of my biggest complaints if they did. That was one of the biggest things I was worried about, because like, especially after how Echo went, because with Echo, they were just advertising like, oh, this is going to be, this is going to be violent. This is going to be like the next step up for
TVMA.
Yeah, TVMA, blah, blah, blah. And I watched Echo and I was like, what is this?
Mhm.
Like when you say TVMA, that better be Daredevil level.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting when you start talking all this stuff. And it was just not there, but holy shit, did they understand the assignment on this one?
And Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio even said themselves, we got to hear them talk about how when Daredevil Born Again was going to be made, they wanted to make sure that their voices were going to be heard for this project and that they wanted this to be for the fans because they understood how much love the fans had for the Netflix series.
Yeah.
And they really wanted to make sure that the fans get that same love out of it. And I think they do.
Yeah.
I really think they do.
And like, what better people to, ask for those opinions than, the people who have been playing these characters for like 10 years now and clearly understand what works and what doesn't.
Based off of the Disney Plus Marvel TV shows, I would say this is the best pilot that we've gotten.
For sure.
Out of the TV shows from Marvel.
For sure.
Now, it does need to finish strong, and I really hope it does finish strong.
It does.
But I'm very hopeful for Daredevil Born Again.
Me too.
What would you rate the first 2 episodes out of 10?
First episode... honestly, we watched it together, so I'm like, I'm trying to
rate it together.
I'm trying to separate it. Together, I'll go like a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh wow, okay.
Or like an
No.
All right.
I was gonna say 9 out of 10, but like,
okay.
9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. I think that's fair.
Because like the second episode to me, I think I like the second episode better.
And it's funny you say that because episode 2 does start out slow.
It's a slower burn.
A slower episode.
Yeah.
But my God, does episode 2 finish so strong.
I love the finish of the second episode.
First episode starts out so strong, and the second episode finishes so strong.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, it was great. No, and honestly, I mean, they both episodes though like finish strong. Like I love the ending of the first episode. Are we gonna get into details here?
Not yet. Quite yet. We'll let you know when we start getting into spoilers.
Okay.
No spoilers yet.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean because in the first episode, it was like action right off the bat.
Yeah.
It was right off the bat.
And for those of us who, love the Netflix show, and for those of us who love the long takes, fight scenes, and Daredevil,
you'll like this.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
I will say though, even though I did love these first 2 episodes, I feel like a lot of the Netflix stans who, watch the original series and everything, they might be pissed off of these first 2 episodes as well. Because they make some bold moves.
It's very possible. There's some bold moves that I think, and I said that when the first time I saw it on Saturday, I walked out and I was like, I loved it. I do think some people will be pissed though.
Yeah.
And that's not to say like there's definitely different decisions being made, and it does have some kind of a different feel to it, but overall I think it keeps that same tone and grit. But I do think there are some creative decisions with some characters that may upset the Netflix Daredevil fans.
Yes, I agree.
As far as sauce, I don't think anything will ever get to the amount of sauce of the Netflix show.
Yeah.
But it does still have that sauce.
Yeah, no, this is pretty damn close.
At some points, it does still have that Disney Plus gray feel. But in terms of
overall, like they definitely were doing what they could for the lighting and stuff. Because that is one thing that is like massive to just like the overall tone of the Netflix Daredevil series is just like, we have these lights of red everywhere. Bro, I'm rewatching season 2 right now.
Yes.
And season 2, oh my God, like there is just so many dope shots where like he's standing in a hallway and there's just like a red exit sign that has the red light in the room. And it's just him like almost in the darkness. And he looks like he's literally the devil standing there.
Season 2's got sauce, bro.
Yes. So they're definitely doing that same effect so far of what we've seen with this new series. And that's what I love to see. Cause it's like, I'm focusing on like the shots because like there's a lot of cool shots in Daredevil. And it's like, if you miss out on these elements, like you could have a perfect story, but if you like don't have that same tone, it's not going to feel the same. It's not going to feel like a continuation of the original series. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few more shots in season 2 that I want to talk about as well, like that I just really loved. One was when the Punisher was coming into court, and it's just when he stands in his final position, getting ready for his hearing.
Yeah,
you just have the American flag right behind him as well, like, and it means so many things for the Punisher, right? Because this is a guy who went overseas and fought for his country, and then just comes back to America and just wants a peaceful life with his family in his country. Yet this is still the country that does him dirty, that just completely wrecks his life in ways that the war never even could.
Yeah.
And so it's just like there's so many layers behind that shot. Trying to think what else. I mean, there's plenty in the Netflix show.
You really do need to watch Punisher, bro. Like once you're done with
Punisher
it,
as well?
you need to watch Punisher. It's so good.
But there aren't as many Punisher stands, you know what I mean?
The first season of Punisher is so fire.
Really?
It's so good.
What happens with season 2?
I mean, season 2, like it's good, but it's not. It's not the level of season 1. It's not.
But yeah, more on the spoiler-free talk in terms of Daredevil Born Again. Trying to think what else we could talk about. I mean, overall, like I'm just
music is great.
Music is good.
The intro is obviously derivative of the original intro, with their own tweaks to it, but it's still really good.
But in the score throughout the first 2 episodes, I really enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to top the Netflix intro. That might be.
It's so good.
Would you say that's the top 5 TV intro of all time?
I'm pretty sure I put it. We did a ranking one time. I'm pretty sure I had it in my top 5.
It's so good.
It's so good.
In terms of TV intros, it's up there with Game of Thrones. It's up there with Westworld, Succession. I love the Better Call Saul intro. Short but straight to the point.
Breaking Bad,
The Sopranos. Yeah. Daredevil intro is up there with
it's
those.
It's a really good intro. Ooh, Dexter intro.
Dexter
we
as
did
well.
talk about Dexter.
But I think also with the Daredevil one that kind of separates it from the intros, say like Breaking Bad or even The Sopranos, is just the artistic creativity with you know.
No, I feel like there's so many like levels to it.
There's so many layers to that intro.
Yeah, because like it's red for Daredevil, obviously, but it's like blood dripping over the entire city.
It's blood. It's also you could say it's also the the acid that's pouring over the city as well that caused Daredevil to be the blind. Just like
I don't know about that.
Like no. But listen, like toxicity just drowning the city.
All right, I'll let you think what you want, but I never got that from it.
I'm saying there's multiple meanings I think you can get behind it.
I don't know. To me, it was like, I kind of thought it was more like the blood dripping over the city and like, all this suffering is what created Daredevil. And then we get that shot at the end of the Daredevil intro and it created Daredevil.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, it's a fucking fire intro.
It's a great fucking intro.
Great intro. It's one that you just don't skip. But all right. Now, do you want to get into spoilers?
Let's get into spoilers, bro.
Okay.
I'm sick of this tease.
Okay. We are diving into spoilers now. So if you do not want to get spoiled, if you have not seen the first 2 episodes, which clearly you haven't because
it's not out yet.
Pause this episode right now. So if you got to come back to this, first of all, thank you for listening. We love you. And we're so happy that we're able to take you on this journey with us and to share this journey with y'all because y'all have been there since day 1 and we wouldn't be here without y'all. So thank you. Now pause this episode and come back to it after you see Daredevil Born Again on Tuesday. So now we're diving into spoilers and well, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we fucking go.
Well, we can start right off the bat with some major spoilers. So, episode 1, it's they're showing Foggy, Karen Page, and our boy Charlie Cox are all hanging at Josie's. They're having a drink, having a good time.
Let me say this before you get into this, because in some press interviews lately, like people have been expecting some shit is going to go down in the first few episodes because Charlie Cox has said that Matt's character goes through tragedy that's going to change his outlook on Daredevil forever.
Yeah.
And when I was able to ask him a question at the press junket, I said, how would you describe this show in one word? And, from
Daredevil's perspective, from Matt Murdock's perspective. And the word that he got around to after a very thoughtful explanation was humility. Humility more than ever. So continue.
So yeah, they're at Josie's having a drink, having a good time. They're making fun of Foggy, who's over here, trying to flirt, work his magic, and just absolutely out of nowhere in the middle of all this fun is...
Well, I mean, they step outside first.
Yeah. You've seen it twice, honestly. You could probably...
I really got this shit.
Yeah, you could probably remember it better than I can.
Well, no, just, it shows that something that we've, I guess, always have wanted to see, and that's the three of them just living life.
Yeah.
They got their law firm together.
Which, by the way, says Nelson Murdoch Page now.
Yes.
They made her a partner.
Yeah. And there's just a situation that occurs where Foggy needs to go outside. He's on the phone, and then
I think he has a client.
Yeah.
He's calling it. He stashed him away for safekeeping because he felt like his life was in danger. Blah blah blah. And then he's calling Foggy all freaked out, like somebody's coming after him. At which point Matt overhears this. He hears Foggy outside on the phone with his super hearing, and he springs into action. He was going to go save the client because they could hear there was a struggle going on over the phone. So he runs there as fast as he can. Turns out the entire thing was a distraction. And back at Josie's, a freaking shooter is going off. But then Matt comes racing back to Josie's to stop the shooter, which ended up being Bullseye.
And this is when we get Dude, it's like a 10-minute fight, one take.
It is a long ass fight.
It is a long one take. Now I know obviously with a lot of those one takes, there are parts where they kind of make it, they have a seamless cut where you don't notice it. But again, this is where we come back to the long take fights in the Netflix show, and we get maybe one of the longest ones that we've ever seen from Daredevil, between Daredevil and Bullseye, and it's fucking good.
It is good.
And I mean, this is Daredevil at his lowest, because what was so amazing about this fight scene is how in and out Matt is hearing his heartbeat throughout this fight.
He's paying attention to that the entire time that he's fighting.
The entire time, and they fight all the way up to the roof of the building.
And they've both taken some blows. Bullseye is injured at this point. So is Matt. But he gets him to the edge of the rooftop. And they're both just kind of exhausted from the fight at this point. And they're on the edge of this roof, Bullseye being closer to the edge. And one last time they, close into Matt listening to his heartbeat. And Matt hears heartbeat stop. And he just screams out in agony and pushes Bullseye off the roof. Fully intending to kill him by doing so. It was not a short drop off of that rooftop.
And the craziest part, what you're saying is how the heartbeat just stops, and Daredevil and Matt just effortlessly just throws him off the roof. There was no thought about it. There was no remorse. There was no guilt, no hesitation.
Yeah.
Just throws him off the roof, because this is the lowest that Matt Murdock has ever been.
Yeah. Fully intending for him to die with that shove too.
Yes. And as you know, that's a big part of Daredevil's character. He doesn't kill, he has a huge faith in his church and God, and
And
whoa.
It just so happened that Bullseye did survive that fall.
Yeah. But my jaw was on the floor the first time I saw this.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Fucking fantastic way to really kick off the show and set the tone.
Yeah.
And then it falls into the new Daredevil Born Again theme, and it is more somber than the Netflix intro. And oh boy.
But yeah, then we flash forward a year later.
Yeah, I think that's gonna upset people too.
Yeah. Well, why do you think that'll upset people?
Just that it's a whole year that's passed by where, I don't know, people don't really like time jumps when it comes to the Marvel.
Okay, but
universe.
With the amount of time in between the actual shows, I feel like with the amount of time in between the actual shows, I feel like there had to be some kind of time jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just realistically.
So Matt's world is just turned completely upside down.
Yeah. And it's not like he's doing bad.
Right. You know, he's still
Just-
the Riz Master.
Life is just different.
Yeah. But I want to ask you this about Kingpin. Now, Kingpin, this is going to be interesting. Kingpin officially runs for mayor in this new show, and he ends up winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he rigged the system.
Eh.
Because he kind of submits his candidacy really late.
Yeah.
But anyways, nonetheless, he does win mayor. So he's now the mayor of New York City. And really there's like this like new power balance between like Kingpin and Vanessa, because Vanessa had to pick up the slack and run the business while, you know, Wilson Fisk was recovering from his injury in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And then he is completely gone. And when he goes to like visit Echo and tries to fix that relationship, I didn't finish Echo, so I don't know how that finishes.
Me either.
But yeah, it's like this whole new Kingpin, really.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think people will be upset about that?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, like, I don't know, like, not everything's gonna be exactly the same. But I feel like the core of what we needed from these characters is like that stayed, and that's what's important. I don't know, like, I feel like, I don't know, I kind of liked seeing a different side out of Kingpin in this, honestly.
Yeah, because I mean, we got a bunch of Kingpin stuff, you know, seasons 1 through 3. So how, you know, I do like seeing not even this different side of Kingpin, but it's just a different story.
I mean, no, I feel like it's a different side.
It is.
Because like, bro, Kingpin's laughing in this one. Like he's actually like low key funny in this, and he never would make jokes in the original.
Yeah, he did make a joke.
He was making some jokes, and honestly, I thought it was pretty funny.
But it's not like knee slapping jokes. I think it's him. He's not really trying to be funny, but it is funny.
That's what I'm saying.
You know? Yeah. And yeah, there's this whole dynamic switch up with like him and Vanessa. I still haven't gotten around to like completely finishing season 3, but has it always been to where, I mean, Fisk has always been more in love or obsessed with Vanessa than she has with him, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, yeah, like that's his prize. But I mean, they're both very infatuated with each other. So honestly, I was surprised to see this
side of Vanessa,
this strain between them,
right?
Because they do have some shit going on between Fisk and Vanessa right now.
And I do think Fisk, here's the thing about Fisk being mayor. Like, yeah, that's dangerous because obviously we know Fisk's backstory.
Yeah.
And his lust for power and control. But at the same time, he also does, I truly do believe like he does love New York.
No, he does.
Yeah.
That's never been in question.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how he sort of balances those two worlds of like giving up his power with crime organization and now becoming mayor and fixing New York that way. And, you know, just it's new people for him and Matt.
Yeah.
Because even one of the commissioners, the police commissioner, was like, you're going to give up your power in crime. You're going to have less power as a politician now than you did as a mob boss. And it's kind of true. You know, he ran the city.
Now, I don't know what his plan is, honestly. Yeah. I mean, because there's no way he just has like 100% good intentions. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
There's no way.
There's just no way. And I think this is where I think the show will get like juicy and hopefully finish strong, because I think people will be upset by some of the character changes in these first 2 episodes. However, I don't think that'll last the whole season.
No, but I do like the conversation that him and Kingpin had. So Matt ended up like meeting up with him at a coffee shop, and they had like this whole discussion.
Yeah, and I think that whole conversation is out on social media now.
Okay,
Disney released it.
Okay, but yeah, no, like that conversation was really good, just so they could kind of touch base and see where they're at.
Yeah.
And I feel like they both respect each other to a certain degree, because like even Kingpin was saying, he's like, it's not totally unpleasant to see you.
Yeah.
Even though they've tried to kill each other on multiple times.
But at the same time, it's like a familiar face.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch up on that final shot we see at episode 1
when
he wins
like
mayor?
that final shot a lot.
Okay, so go ahead and talk about that.
It like ends with so after he wins the election, it ends with like Kingpin up on this rooftop, like looking down at people in the streets cheering because he like Kingpin's fans that did vote for him, like they're fans, like they're those really strong supporters. It wasn't like, oh yeah, maybe I'll vote for Fisk. It's like, no, Fisk is my, that's my champion there.
Yeah.
And he's up on this rooftop with like this bright white light shining on him, like looking down at everybody,
people of New York.
the people of New York, like celebrating. And kind of from his point of view, it just looks like celebrating. But Matt is down there with those people on the street, and you can see it's like it's not only celebrating, but it's like chaotic. It's like the Philadelphia Eagles celebrating that they won the Super Bowl, basically.
Right.
Like that's the best way I can compare it. And you just have like the red street light, and it's like, so it's you have that shining on the street, and it's like, so it's like I looked at it like Matt was down in hell with the people and
looking up at Fisk,
and he's like God, and he's like basically trying to like he's gonna have to take down God in this show.
Yeah. No, I love it, and that's what I'm saying. Where I think this show understood that it has to match the level of sauce that the Netflix show did. At that final shot, we just get like this blinking red light on Matt's face, and I'm like, it's so funny because that started happening, and you looked over at me, and you were like, oh yeah.
No, like I once I like noticed the red lighting, I was like,
yeah,
I need this.
Red light. Shout out 3C Films. Who doesn't love red lighting, bro?
It's great.
It's so good. So yeah, that was a strong finish to episode 1.
Episode 2, it was more so just like kind of revolved around like Matt's life and what was going on, and and even Kingpin's too, like of like his day-to-day political life and how that's going to be looking moving forward.
Well, we get introduced to the White Tiger. And there's a case involving the White Tiger that Matt is wanting to take on. And really it's just like it's setting up a lot of things for future situations in this show, and I think it's setting up for a lot of good drama as well. Hopefully we do get some great court scenes in this show as well, because I think the court scenes in the Netflix show were really great. And honestly, the long monologues in Daredevil is like what I really want to see, because every monologue with Punisher was just heartbreaking.
Oh, I just watched freaking Penny and Dime.
Yes.
Love that episode.
Yes.
So much.
Yes.
It's the whole episode is literally just a conversation between Daredevil and Punisher and like their whole moralities and how they look at the criminal world. And I love it so much.
It's so good. So I really do hope we get to see some great court scenes with Matt. And man, we are getting to see Matt like use his powers a lot in this one. Now, I'm not saying they didn't show that in the Netflix show, but it's like every scene where we get to see Matt use his power.
I mean, I feel like they showed it a lot in the original show.
Yes, but maybe, okay, they showed it in a way to where you just like,
you like feel it.
You just see like Matt like turn his head and he's like hearing something. But this one, the camera focus changes. Yeah. The shots change more. It's kind of just making a point to really showcase his power more. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Because I do agree. I'm on season 3 of Daredevil, and we are seeing him use his powers a lot, and like now he's sensing more of his feel. But I think this one is just doing more of a job of showcasing it through the camera work.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a better way to put it.
Yeah. Oh man, episode 2, the finish to that one.
The finished episode 2 is so good.
Because like I don't want to really spoil the whole thing. Like this is spoiler talk, but also I want to leave some room for you guys to watch. But either way, like episode 2 just finishes with Matt in this situation to where it's going to be life or death for him.
Yeah.
As the lawyer, Matt. You know?
No, honestly, okay, so I kind of want to get into like why he's there. Okay, so like, ahead. All right, so there's only one witness to this White Tiger thing. So White Tiger got into a scrap with a couple of cops, and because they saw them beating up on this random dude
While he wasn't,
while he was dressed in street clothes. He wasn't dressed as White Tiger. He just saw this conflict going on. Whatever. He gets involved. The guy who was getting attacked runs away. He's safe. But now he's in this scrap with these police officers, and they were on the subway, and one of the cops trips into the subway that was passing by and dies. He did not do this. But yeah, so White Tiger gets taken to the police station. Matt is at the police station, and he hears dirty cops in there basically like beating up on him, trying to get a confession out of White Tiger. But you know, he hears that going on. He goes, he talks to him, he uses his power. He realizes like, oh, this guy's innocent. So he takes on the case. The biggest thing in this is the only witness is that guy who escaped.
Yeah.
And so he needs to find that witness before the cops do, because if they get to him, they're going to kill him, because that's the only person that can put White Tiger that can clear his name. So he rushes to White Tiger, or he rushes to the witness's apartment, gets there before these dirty cops get there, and he tells them, "Get out! You got 30 seconds. Get out the window." He runs out the fire escape, and he gets out. These dirty cops knock on the door, not like seconds after he just ran out, and lawyer Matt answers the door, and they're asking where this guy is, and he's like, "He's not here."
Yeah, because at this point, Daredevil is dead to him.
Yeah, he hasn't been Daredevil since the beginning of the first episode of this. And there was a year time jump in that, like that tragedy at the beginning. He did not. After that he just didn't want to be Daredevil anymore.
It wasn't a part of him anymore.
So he hasn't been in a scrap like this in over a year.
Yeah.
So he was doing everything he could to not let this out. Like he
was letting the cops beat him up.
He was letting these cops, like they were not going to stop until they got answers out of Matt, and he was pulling the whole "I'm blind" thing. I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
But they just kept beating up on him, and he was letting it happen. He was like, hopefully I'm sure in his mind he was like, hopefully they're just gonna stop and just leave it at that. But no, then finally they pull out a gun, and they're about to kill Matt. He's like, he didn't want to do it.
He didn't. And
he didn't want to do it
saying-
so bad.
He was like, "Please don't do this. You don't want to do this. Please don't do this.
Yeah.
Please don't do this."
And he pulls out the gun, and that's the final straw. Puts it up to his head. And Daredevil is unleashed.
Daredevil's unleashed. Daredevil's born.
He is born again. And oh my God, bro, this fight scene, it is so short, but so brutal.
Yeah.
I kind of like this one better than the first fight scene that we get.
I don't blame you. And I think I might agree because
so I will say this, like the fight in the beginning of that first episode is very good, but there's just like those moments with the CGI because there's like, it's a lot of like insane movement, I guess I want to call it. Where it's like, because like he's using his baton with like how he zips around from rooftop to rooftop. Like he is using that. And obviously the only way to accomplish that is with CGI. But there is no CGI in this fight scene at the end of the second episode, and it is just straight fucking hands. And it's so real and it's so brutal.
It's
and
so
oh my
bloody.
bro, he like snapped one guy's arm.
Man.
Oh, and the bone comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good. I can't wait for y'all. I mean, hopefully you've seen it by now, hopefully by the time you're listening to this. But yeah, I mean, we knew once Daredevil was introduced into the MCU, they sort of offered more of a superhero, like more unnatural abilities in terms of like fighting, jumping.
Yes.
So as we saw like in She-Hulk,
I don't think it's as crazy in this as we saw in She-Hulk, which I hope it stays that way because what I saw in She-Hulk, I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy. Like, is Matt a fucking superhuman? Like, what's he doing right now?
Right. Yeah. As to where obviously the Netflix show was very grounded in its fight choreography.
But I did like that we got him zipping around.
Yeah.
That part was cool.
Yeah. But yeah, this last fight at the end of episode 2, short and sweet. My God.
So good.
And I think the fight scenes like, because we see a fight in the very beginning of episode 1, and then we see one at the end of episode 2. So there's very few, but they're very effective. And I'm liking that.
I mean, now that I have a feeling like now that he had that first fight, Daredevil's going to be coming back out.
Right.
So we probably will get more.
Yeah.
Because obviously after that first incident, like that's when he decided I'm not gonna be Daredevil anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, Fisk's whole campaign as mayor is like to stop the vigilantes in New York. So, and I mean, Matt said to him too, he's like, I'm done with the vigilante stuff. So now it's going to be interesting to see, if Matt really does go back to being a vigilante.
Well, because you think he's gonna wear the black mask like he go like I feel like when he's not fully committed, like he's just doing it because he needs to. He doesn't go the full Daredevil. He goes just like back to
that's what he was doing in the beginning of season 3.
Yeah.
He went back to the black mask.
I feel like we might see it one time.
I don't know if we'll see the black mask.
I kind of hope we do.
Netflix might be trademarking that shit. Because that's like that's a very Netflix look.
It is Netflix.
I
love it.
I know. No, it's a great look. So I don't think we'll see the black mask, but I think it'll be interesting to see what he decides to do as a character if he starts tapping back into his vigilante work at night.
I mean, I am very optimistic for the rest of this show.
Yeah.
Those first 2 episodes got me so hyped. Oh, I'm actually so sad that we got to wait so long to get episode 3 and continue this, but
I know. Oh my God. We gotta wait. We gotta wait till not next week, but the week after that.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah, we're just gonna be able to rewatch what we've already seen.
No, it's very good. Very hopeful for it. I think the fans should be happy about the grit of this show. I think in terms of a Disney Plus Marvel show, fans will be really happy about it.
I think so too.
So can't wait for you guys to see it.
For real. Yeah. No, it was quite the experience in New York. Couldn't imagine a better first premiere for us with all our boys there. That was great. Honestly, I think that's what made this such a fantastic event for us. And, hopefully this opens the door. Honestly, saying fantastic just reminded me, hopefully this opens the door. We can get into some Fantastic Four, some Thunderbolts for you guys and be able to talk about that stuff.
That'd be cool, man.
That'd be awesome.
Anything to say about the first 2 episodes? Anything else?
Oh, man,
I'm trying to think, because I don't want to sit here and just talk about and say the whole plot.
I know,
for y'all, you know what I mean. But very interesting character dynamics happening. A lot of character switch ups that I think should offer a lot of adversity for our characters. And hopefully it can just finish strong. And we see Daredevil born again, clearly. I've heard they're actually going to be, they said at the premiere that they're going to be starting filming for season 2 next week.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they're already very confident. They're like, bro, people, this came out fire. Let's move on. Let's get the next season going. So I'm liking the confidence they got in this already.
Yeah. And bro, low key, because I know I was late to the Netflix Daredevil. The more Daredevil content that I see,
this fucking guy.
I know.
Oh my God, bro! I have been a Daredevil stan since they first released that shit on Netflix.
I'm gonna say this. I don't like doing this, but I'll give you props. In terms of TV shows, you have introduced me to fire TV shows.
I have.
I think you're more of the TV show guy.
I think I am. Bro, I introduced you to Daredevil. I introduced you to Supernatural. I'd say me and Berto.
Yeah, you and Berto.
But me and Berto for Supernatural. I introduced you to Avatar: The Last Airbender. I mean, the list goes on, but
Game of Thrones,
bro, I swear, I have put him on to every amazing TV show. I think the only one that he's done that wasn't me was Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Those are 2 good ones.
They're good, but I think that was about it.
No, I think Garrett's more of the TV guy. I'm more of the movie guy.
For sure.
But yeah, the more I see Daredevil, the more he just climbs the ladder in terms of my favorite Marvel characters.
He's a great character.
Just such an amazing character in terms of here's this guy who's a lawyer and has such a huge faith in his church and God, but he dresses up as a devil at night.
The depth of his character is so good.
It's insane.
It's so good.
And just the fact that, this is a guy who's
everything that he does kind of contradicts himself.
Right.
Because he's a lawyer, but he's a vigilante at night. He's a hardcore Catholic, but his nickname is Daredevil or the Devil of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Those two in themselves are 2 sides of a completely different coin. It's just it's crazy.
It's amazing. And not to mention his power set as well, being completely blind and having to train the way he did. And it's just so dope when you do see him use his powers, like how he can hear fucking someone 3 stories down or something from across the street. And then just how his
his senses are so heightened.
And he has like the perfect power set for a street level hero.
Yeah.
He has the perfect power set for that.
And of course, the cherry on top, Charlie Cox is just so fucking gorgeous.
Charlie Cox is great.
Dude,
that is like an RDJ as Iron Man level casting right there.
Is Charlie Cox's Daredevil on the level of RDJ as Iron Man, on the level of, say,
Sam L as Nick Fury,
or J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson? Like, in terms of superhero castings that we've seen or comic book casting, Charlie Cox is up there.
Damn near perfect.
Because I have had zero complaints on Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock.
No, I've never had a complaint about his portrayal.
No.
It's perfect.
He's fantastic. And he's also the nicest human being.
He really
He's
is.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic casting there. So that's going to do it for this episode, though. We hope you enjoyed this first look.
Premiere review.
Review. The very first DuckTakes premiere review.
Yeah.
And we really can't wait for everyone to see these first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. So thank you, Marvel. Thank you, Disney. And
thank the mouse, bro.
Thank the mouse. The mouse now has our soul.
Yep. I'll sell it again. Just fine. It's fine.
All right, guys. Also, don't forget DuckTakes Daredevil merch dropping. We should have a vlog coming up as well of the Daredevil event. And looking forward to pumping out some great Patreon content for y'all. And we'll see you next time on DuckTakes.
See you guys.